Well, prominent Palestinian French human rights lawyer Salah Hamouri has arrived in France after being deported there by Israel, a move which the French Foreign Ministry has condemned. Hamouri spent nearly 9 months in Israeli detention for his alleged ties to a banned militant group, a claim that he denies. Hamouri was born and raised in Jerusalem and holds French citizenship. He was jailed in Israel from 2005 to 2011 for allegedly plotting to kill a rabbi. Well, Israel says Hamouri had, quote, organised, inspired and planned to commit terror attacks against citizens and well-known Israelis. Earlier, I spoke to his lawyer, Danny Shenhar, and asked him why Israel shouldn't have deported Hamouri.
Well, first of all, what we know, the facts that are known to us, is that Salah Hamouri was convicted almost 20 years ago of a plot concerning a public figure in Israel. And he was sentenced for 7 years and was released after 6. So this is the only known fact about his past history. The latter years, he was held in administrative detention twice, but nothing was put to the public. Nothing is known. And we are not talking about a conviction, a trial. You know, if somebody is convicted of wrongdoing, you can put him in prison and have a trial and have all the facts put before him. In this case, he wasn't even put to trial. He is deported from his homeland and is stripped of his residency status in his homeland, which is a very far-reaching thing to do to someone from a son of a country. So I think that saying that he's a known terrorist or whatnot, even if it's true and we're not sure it's true, it's not enough to deport somebody from his homeland.
What does your client say to the claims from Israel of links to the Militant Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, known as the acronym PFLP?
Well, Mr. Hamouri was, as I said, in 2005, was charged as being a member of that organization, but he was released from prison in 2011. And since then, he has denied being a militant in the PFLP. So he denies the charges against him. And again, I stress the charges were never put before a court of law, only in statements based on secret material that we've never seen. And now this drastic act has been taken.
OK, your client is now in France. He's been deported. What's your next step?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the Israeli courts dismissed our past petitions, both on the revocation of his residency and our attempts to let him stay here until all of the proceedings are over. So now he's been deported and he's unfortunately no longer in his homeland. What we will do next, we will, first of all, we will petition the High Court of Justice regarding the law that gives the Ministry of Interior the power to revoke residency on the basis of breach of allegiance, which is what was done to Mr. Hamouri. And I want to stress that in the case of East Jerusalemites, like Mr. Hamouri, Palestinians from East Jerusalem, which Israel occupied in 1967, now this law, which we want to attack, gives the Ministry of Interior the power to take away the residency status of the Palestinians from East Jerusalem and deport them on the basis of breach of allegiance to the State of Israel, which is completely contravening international law and Israeli law. So we intend to try to strike down this law. And if we are successful, then Mr. Hamouri's residency will be reinstated. If we are not successful in the High Court in the constitutional case, then we, of course, will return to the district court to try to change the decision on Salah Hamouri on his case individually, because we think that even if the law is deemed constitutional and the court will say that residents can be deported on the basis of breach of allegiance, then in the case of Hamouri, it doesn't even come close to the threshold that the law demands for deporting somebody.
Okay.
You have to be, yeah.
Unfortunately, we are going to have to leave it there, but I want to thank you for your time. That was Dani Shenha from the Israeli rights group Hamoked. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
We can cross now to DW correspondent Tanya Kremer in Jerusalem for more on this story. Tanya, hi there. What more can you tell us about Salah Hamouri?
Well, as you said, we understand that Salah Hamouri, a very prominent Palestinian lawyer born in Jerusalem, has been taken to the airport in the morning hours. He had been deported to France. And as you said, he had his residency revoked in December. He was since March, arrested and had been since then in what is a very controversial practice of administrative detention. He had also gone on hunger strike during the detention. The allegations that Israel is saying is they're saying that he's a member of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, in short PFLP, a designated terrorist organizations, and he has denied it and claims his innocence in that. Now, human rights organizations here have said this sets a very dangerous precedent, but we also heard of the now outgoing Interior Minister Ayelet Shaked. There's a new government potentially coming soon in Israel. She hailed it actually as a personal success. In a statement, she said it was a tremendous achievement that she was able to bring about his deportation, and also adding that she used the tools to advance the fight against terrorism. Now, in the meantime, we also heard from the French Foreign Ministry saying that condemning the decision by Israel to deport Salah Hamouri, saying that they had been working on making sure that his rights are protected, and they're condemning that he was deported now after all.
OK, Tanya. Now, if Israel can legally revoke residency of Palestinians in occupied East Jerusalem, what does this mean for Palestinians living there?
Well, we're talking here about a very specific situation, as you said, for Palestinians living in East Jerusalem. For this, you have to go a bit back in history. In 1967, when Israel occupied and later annexed East Jerusalem, most of the residents there, Palestinians, they were granted residency. We call it here the so-called Jerusalem ID. You can apply for citizenship, but most people here do have this Jerusalem ID, the residency here, which don't give them the full rights of being an Israeli citizen. So basically, there are provisions here that if you're too long out of the country, for example, as a student or something, then you could actually lose this residency. But what we are talking about here in this case is an amendment to the law, the entry law to Israel from 2018, very controversial, and human rights groups I talked to this morning still saying they're challenging this law still in court.
Okay.
They are saying this law actually provides the legal basis for this deportation for a breach of allegiance to the State of Israel.
OK, that was DW's Tanya Kremer in Jerusalem. Thanks, Tanya.